Awesome. Hi, Thomas. Thanks for joining. Perfect. I think I'll just jump into things. I know we've got quite a few people who are going to be watching the recording later on. So just going to get started. For those here with us today, please feel free to throw any questions in the chat. If you're watching this later, obviously can't do that, but please feel free to email myself, any of the members of our Canadian team, whether you're working with myself, Olivia, Donald, or Cooper, and we're always happy to chat about opportunities for teaching in the UK. Amazing. It is going to be a solo one tonight. So just me leading it. I am one of the members of our Canadian North American team. I work on the global team to help send our educators to Australia, New Zealand, as well as the UK. A little bit about me. I am a teacher myself. I was teaching in Australia in 2023, and upon coming home was lucky enough to get into this role full-time with the company, and now I've left the classroom for the time being and do this full-time. I'm also lucky enough to have traveled to 30 plus countries. I think one of the greatest things about teaching in the UK is the potential to travel the world, go around Europe and spend a weekend kind of wherever you would like. I used to be a flight attendant before becoming a teacher, so feel very, very lucky to have seen some of the beautiful sights that our teachers in the UK get to enjoy. And a special fun fact is that in the 90s, I lived in the UK on a very small Channel island called Jersey. For anyone who is new to ANZ UK, we have been around for 20 years now, supporting educators to travel and teach in different geographies all around the world. So we have offices in Canada, the UK, New Zealand, Australia, but we're also partnered in the US, as well as we have an office in Europe. We offer 360-degree support for educators who are going over from the moment that you are beginning to start into your research through the remainder of your time there and beyond. So what we'll be covering today is just some life admin of the move, the different work opportunities that are present in the UK, compliance, the community that ANZ UK is providing, and how we can actually support you on this journey. So our favorite question, why teach abroad? What I always say is, why not teach abroad? What a phenomenal opportunity to grow as a person, as a teacher, as an educator. The personal growth, to step out of your comfort zone, do something new. Everyone on the Canadian team has gone and taught abroad ourselves, so we know how big of a move this is, how scary of a move this is, but also how rewarding of a move it is to develop some cultural awareness, experience living in a new country, getting to travel really does such great things for you. The career development as well as phenomenal, especially if you are a new grad and want to gain some references for future employment, have some professional development. This is a great spot to start. And just the life experience, to make friends from all over the world, to have the travel opportunities, to have the expat opportunities that are there in the UK. You're at London's doorstep. To be able to take a weekend to go spend in Croatia or Italy or wherever you'd like really cannot be beaten. So what are the steps in your journey? I assume most people watching this are at kind of the initial phase of doing their research, trying to figure out what the opportunities are, what the best options are, and this is a great spot to start. After this, step one is initial contact with our North American team here. So the Canadian North American team helps all educators from the Americas who are looking to go abroad. We'd have an initial contact, talk through the visa, any questions that you may have. I'll be going over a lot of it in the webinar today, but there are going to be things that are specific for your circumstances that we can go over on a call with you. Step two is registration. You register to work with our Canadian team, and we're going to help you from A to Z with the whole process. So that starts with getting your visa, getting your working rights, obtaining a teaching certificate if necessary, placing you into the job that you want to be in, whether you're looking for casual work or a long-term role, and all the stuff along the way. Step three is contact from the UK. So wherever you're going to go, we have an actual office in those locations, and you would get a call from your local UK consultant to help talk you through things along the ground. Four is compliance. We have our UK compliance team as well that's going to help you with all the processes to make sure that you are obtaining the proper legal working rights and anything you need to actually live and work in the UK. I know this sounds like a lot, but once you're done all that, you're clear for work. So we'll do everything we need to do on the Canadian side. You land in the UK, registration's complete, paperwork is complete, you're all set to go. And then you're in the classroom teaching. Like I said, we'll go over the work opportunities more, but whether you are choosing to do casual relief teaching, maybe you're an early years educator, or if you're looking for a contract to have your own classroom, we'll support you along the way, regardless of what you're after. So when is the best time of the year to arrive? The UK school year is set out similar to the North American school year, just with some minor differences. The main one being that instead of being split into 2 terms like we normally see here in Canada, they are split into 3. So they have also just started their new school year in the beginning of September. That will run through to their Christmas break. The spring term starts January and runs through till April, with the summer term starting in May, and they actually go till the end of July for their school year. So smaller summer break, but they make that up with half-term breaks as well. So you'll see here in October, February, and May, they have a week off midway through each term just to give a little extra break for the students and the educators. As far as the best time of year to arrive, there are no bad times. There are some better times depending on what you're looking for. If you are looking for a contract, you want to have your own classroom, best time of year to arrive is going to be beginning of the terms, whether that's September, January, or May if you're looking for just something shorter. There are often lots of opportunities as the terms change over for new teachers to come in. If you are looking for more casual relief work supply teaching, really any time of the year is good as long as you have set yourself up wisely. If you are planning to come over after the Canadian school year, for example, just know that come the end of July, they'll be off school for 5 weeks. If you are planning to come in September, that's great as well. But similar to here in Canada, the first couple of weeks can be a bit slow to ramp up, but once the school year gets going, there's lots of work to be had. Visa requirements. So the wonderful thing with the UK is the teaching requirement is very similar to here in Canada. So if you are a qualified teacher here in Canada, you will be able to get your qualified teacher status in the UK. There's also opportunities for ECEs and TAs, which I'll jump into in a moment. The bigger thing that you need to get is valid working rights or a valid visa to live there. Most of our educators go over on the Youth Mobility Scheme visa. This visa is for Australia, New Zealand, and Canadian citizens before the age of 35, so you must apply before your 36th birthday. You can apply about 6 months before you intend to arrive. The processing time takes about 3 to 10 weeks, and it's an automatic 2-year visa. So once it's granted, you have 2 years to live there, and once you're there, you can apply for a 3rd year if you're enjoying it and want to stay longer. It's a once-in-a-lifetime visa, so once you've used it, it is done. The application cost is 530 Canadian, just shy of £300. Where there is a little bit of a larger fee is the IHS fee. That's the Immigration Healthcare Surcharge fee. This is a yearly fee that anyone moving to the UK is required to pay, and it grants you access to their National Healthcare Service, the NHS. So essentially, you're paying this fee, and it gives you the full rights as any UK citizen would have to access their healthcare services when needed. That surcharge is £776 per year. Since it is a 2-year visa, you do have to pay for both of those years. And if you did want a 3rd year while you were living there, you would pay the surcharge for your 3rd year when you're there. So in total, the cost is about 3,300 Canadian, 1850 pounds. It is a more expensive visa. However, having the safety of the NHS behind you really is a great thing for a lot of our educators. So it really is a worthwhile thing to start thinking about early, save some money aside. A 2-year visa is phenomenal to be able to move over and get to live there for that amount of time and access the services the way that the citizens there access it. Another great point that I talked about briefly, but we do have an in-house visa support team to help with the whole process along the way. This is included with your registration fee to help guide you through all of the paperwork, the biometrics, and everything that you need to make sure that you are coming into the country legally. There are a few other visa choices if you are not under the age of 36 or just want to explore your other options. A very popular one is the ancestry visa. So if any of your grandparents were born in the UK, you can apply for the ancestry visa. It gives you 5 years to live and work in the UK. It's a slightly more expensive application fee at $11.30 Canadian. And there is that built-in IHS cost with that as well. So you will have to pay for all of the years of that visa with the application there. There's a few other ones. If you're able to get a UK passport, if you have a partner or spouser visa or a skilled worker visa, are all other ways to get in. There's also the HPI, which is the High Potential Individual Visa. This is for graduates from McGill University, U of T University, and UBC from the last 5 years. If you graduate from one of those schools in the last 5 years, you are eligible for this one. Very similar prices and access as the youth mobility scheme, but if you are past the age limit or looking for a different opportunity, this might be a great visa for you as well. All right, into the fun stuff, the location options. So we are so lucky to have several different offices sprinkled throughout the beautiful UK. We'll do a little bit of an entry into all of the different spots. If you have no idea where you want to go or you're not sold on where, we're happy to talk through the options with you, find out what's best for you. We also have an amazing video from our UK team there where they did the Battle of the Boroughs to kind of contrast and compare the different options. So happy to share that along for anyone who is undecided on where exactly in the UK they want to do their teaching. But right now we have great offices in London, Surrey, Wales, Bristol, Southampton, and we are moving into Essex as well. Now, London, of course, everyone knows London, very popular location. London is going to be one of the more expensive places to live. Of course, it is the central hub, but with that expensive living, you get everything that London brings, the amazing sporting culture, the amazing life there, access to great airports if you are flying in, flying out. So I'll just quickly go through some of the cost of living. Of course, everyone will get a recording of this, so you're welcome to look back. An average room in London is going to charge you about £700 to £900 per month. Their monthly their monthly transit pass is going to cost you about £184 per month. Pub meal about 15, coffee about 3, pint of beer about 6. Surrey. So Surrey is a beautiful little spot just southwest of London. If you are looking for a bit more greenery, getting out of the city a little bit more, it's an absolutely great option for you there. Slightly cheaper with the rent as well, looking at £500 to £700 per month in comparison, and about £96 for the transit pass there. Pub meal, pretty similar, £13, 3 for a coffee, 5 for a pint of beer. Cardiff, Wales. Wales is an absolute beautiful hidden gem. I was lucky enough to get to visit when I was in high school. Absolutely gorgeous country, so much history, so much beautiful untouched land as well. And it's a really great spot for if you're looking for a little bang for your buck. Amazing cities, amazing life to live there. Lower cost of living, and they still do have quite high wages for their teachers, which I'll go into shortly. A room in Cardiff, which is going to be the main city in Wales there, is going to be between £525 to £650 per month. The transit pass down to £40 a month. Pub meal still looking about the same, 15, coffee, 3, slightly cheaper pint of beer, averaging around £4 there. Bristol, another beautiful location. Up a little bit more in the north, but more centric. I think it has been a little bit branded as a more hipster, I don't know if we're still using that word in 2024, neighborhood, but a little bit more eclectic. Again, rent's looking about 500 to 750 pounds per month. The transit pass just over 70 pounds a month. And again, average prices for the pub meal and the coffee, but cheaper pint of beer looking around £3 up in Bristol. Southampton, beautiful, gorgeous Southampton, access on the water there. It does have a mixture of everything. This is one of our newer locations. It's looking around 550 to 800 pounds a month in rent there. The transit pass just shy of that $70 mark. Slightly cheaper pub meal, still the £3 coffee and a £4 pint there. Now, when it actually comes to choosing your destination, you have decided you want to go teach in the UK, you've picked where you want to live. The biggest question that we usually get from our educators is, where do I live? How do I find a place to live? We know that it can be very scary making the move across the globe without a plan. So we are here to help and assist you as much as we possibly can. The number one tip I would say is don't get a place before you arrive. If you can, book an Airbnb, a hostel, a hotel, whatever you need for some time once you actually arrive in your location, and then be able to do the house hunt there on location. If you're going to be sharing a house, you want to meet your housemates, you want to see the neighborhood, make sure that it's good. If you are going to be relying on public transit, making sure that it's close to a train station or a bus station. So really, as scary as it is, wait it out, move over there, and then you can be able to actually go see it. Some of the top tips: do plenty of research before you arrive. Look into what different areas you might like and what your budget is going to be. Again, you'll have talked to your UK consultant before you arrive on the ground, and they're more than happy to provide some recommendations for best neighborhoods to live in, what the average rent is like around there. These are local British people who live in these areas, so they're happy to kind of share their knowledge to help you in the process. Take note of what's important to you: shared living space, outdoor area close to a park or high street, like a main street common area, and allow up to a month to find accommodation on the ground in the UK. The biggest thing I always say with these places, they're very transient cities. The biggest piece of advice I can give is cast a wide net. Whether you're looking through subletting options on websites, Facebook groups, send as many messages as you can. Be open to a little bit outside of what you might have expected. Let's say an outdoor area was really important to you. Maybe one doesn't have a balcony but has a park nearby. Be open, cast a wide net, and see what's available for you. This is all part of the adventure of moving to a new country, experiencing a new place. Some top things to know with living in the UK: rent is commonly paid on a monthly basis. Most places come furnished, which is fantastic. I would say if you're packing, the less you can bring with you, the better. You can always get stuff there, and you'll want to get new items depending on where you live. You'll want to acclimatize to the fashion a little bit. So less is more as you're making this big move. Subletting is a really huge option. It's very common practice over there, which is not maybe something we see outside of university towns in Canada. Spareroom.co.uk is a great spot to look, as well as rightmove.co.uk. You can find properties and read their guide for preparing to find rent in the UK. Amazing. So you know where you want to go, you know where you want to live. Now let's get into the actual work aspect of it. So we have different types of work opportunities available for all educators when you're going over. So if you are looking for supply day-to-day work, you're flexible, you want to teach in a variety of different settings, whether that is primary, secondary, special education needs settings, with the option of working up to 5 days a week. Daily supply or short blocks could be an excellent choice for you. This was personally my preferred choice when teaching abroad. I wanted the flexibility that supply offered to be able to see a bunch of different schools, test out a bunch of different environments. I wanted to teach primary and secondary. So a really great way of having some variety, getting to try a bit of everything else. If that's not for you, or you want a contract, you want a bit more fixed work, there are fixed term contracts as well. So If you want to work in the same school from the day you arrive, a long-term contract can be organized. This is often going to be done before you actually arrive. You can do virtual interviews with the principal or administration of a school. So just find out what subjects you want to teach, what grades you want to teach, what areas you're looking to be in. We'll find a school that matches up with what you're looking for to get you into the right classroom. The wonderful thing with the UK visa is there's no limitations on how long you can work in any one school. So if you want to arrive in September to have your own classroom all the way through the school year, it's absolutely something we can help you do. And finally, permanent contracts. So if you are looking to make this a long-term move, you're looking to go over and pursue the remainder of your career or the next little while of your career in the UK, we can absolutely help source a permanent contract for you. You can become a part of that school community, work on a permanent basis with that school. Amazing. The types of schools and nurseries that we have in the UK. So there are a lot of similarities with the UK school system and the Canadian school system, but I'll just quickly run over. So there are early childhood education centers or schools. So if you are an ECE in Canada, absolutely work to be had in the UK for you as well, whether you are looking for that daily supply or the contracts. They have primary and secondary schools. They also have two different school sectors, public and independent schools, and we are able to work with both. And then finally, there's special education needs schools. This is a different type of school. We do have some similar classrooms in Canada, but designed for students with additional special education needs. Phenomenal way to learn about working with students with exceptionalities, different needs. We'll actually be hosting another webinar on special education needs next month. So if that is an area of interest for you, it's always an area that has work available with smaller classes. They require a lot more teachers, so always work available, and I'm absolutely happy to chat about the roles in there. The types of work that we offer, as I just mentioned, there is work available for early childhood educators, teachers, administrators. We also have work for TAs, which is more often known as EAs, educational assistants here in Canada, or cover supervisors. A cover supervisor is similar to an unqualified teacher. So if you are a newer teacher from Canada and potentially worked during COVID as an unqualified teacher here in Canada, it would be a similar role to that. Amazing. Pay rates is obviously a huge question that we get. I won't be going too big into it on the webinar today. I'm happy to discuss more in our conversations, but it really, really ranges depending on quite a few things. The city that you are living in will have an impact on the pay range. What type of work you are taking, so whether you're taking daily supply work or contracts, and how much experience you have. So those are the three main factors that go into deciding what your pay will be. So happy to discuss one-on-one what the pay ranges look like, depending on what you're looking for, what your experience is. The wonderful thing with working with ANZ UK, and one thing that I really loved when I was teaching abroad, is it's paid out on a weekly basis. You are getting a paycheck every single week. Some incentives and bonuses. In case the amazing world of teaching in the UK isn't reason enough to get going, there are some wonderful incentives and bonuses and some great financial incentives to help you get over there. So if you are going on our ANZ UK Ambassador Program, that is our guaranteed work program. So if you are working in specific locations, even if you are doing the daily supply work, the casual relief work, we're able to guarantee a certain amount of days per week just to ensure that you are getting the amount of work that you need. And it also ensures that we are able to staff all of the schools that we support. So if you are working on an ambassador contract and you sign the ambassador contract, once you have worked 60 days worth of shifts, you're eligible to receive £250 that goes towards reimbursing your flight. So I believe that's close to 400, 500 Canadian. Can absolutely cover a flight to England to help reimburse that there. If you are going for a contract role, so you want to sign into a contract and you have it locked and loaded ready before you go, you know what you're going to be working. Once you've worked your 60 shifts in that contract, there's a £500 relocation bonus awarded for that one there. In a little addition, if you know someone who you think might be a wonderful educator, you think that this experience in the UK is a great opportunity for them, we do also have our educator referral bonus. That one is $50. If you refer them to us, you will receive a $50 gift card just for the referral. Amazing. The next steps in your journey. I know that I've thrown out a lot of information here about visas, teaching eligibility, the type of work we have. As I said, so much of it is going to be specific towards what you are looking for, what kind of experience you want to have, where you want to live. And we're really happy to one-on-one discuss these things and find out how we can best support each other. So to get started, we need an up-to-date resume. We require 2 professional references. Now, if you are a new teacher recently graduating from your Bachelor of Education or you're still in your Bachelor of Education, the associate teachers that you work with are fine for that. If you are a working teacher, we look for principal or vice principal administrative references as we find that they're the strongest. I love this tagline here, but before I move on, we'll handle the boring stuff so you can focus on the fun stuff. As I said, I know I just threw a lot of information your way. There is so much that goes into moving abroad, and it is such a big decision to make. However, we're here to help with every step along the way, guide you through, make sure that all of the administrative, boring paperwork gets done correctly so that you can make the move, thrive in a new classroom, and be the best educator that you can be. Lastly, one of our greatest things about ANZ UK, I think, especially for those moving to a new country, is that we are all about community and hosting events that people can get to know each other. So we host regular socials both before and after you arrive so you can meet other traveling educators. We actually have just wrapped up our summer socials. We held one in Kingston, Toronto, and Vancouver, but we'll be making the rounds in the winter as well as we start doing our university fair visits. But there are always events going on in location in the UK, regardless of what city you end up in, so that you can meet other traveling educators. We have tons and tons of Australians who go to teach in the UK if you want to meet some more people from abroad, as well as locals who work there as well. Great way to meet some new people, make some new friends. We have a Facebook group as well that you can join to talk to any other educators who are making moves over around the same time. Perfect. I'll just finish off on this before I jump into any questions. I know that we are heading into the end of summer now, sadly, and joining into the fall. But this was what one of our lovely colleagues had put together for this past summer in the UK. Just a phenomenal example of the types of events that are happening all around the UK and Europe in the summer. What a place to be, what an experience to have. We're just heading into our last time here with Oktoberfest coming up in Munich in just a few weeks. But really, what an amazing place to live. What an amazing place to have your teaching journey. And we're here to support all along the way. Amazing. As I said, I know a lot of people are watching this from home, but if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those now. If you have any other ones that you'd like to email me, or I'm happy to schedule a call to answer any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, if there aren't any questions, thank you so much for joining. I hope this answered some of your initial questions about making the move to the UK and what teaching in the UK is like. Like I said, we're always happy to chat, answer any more questions that you have, and hopefully make this move for you as seamless as possible. All right, perfect. Well, if there's no questions, I will end it here. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we hope to talk to you all soon.